People want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. This isn't the first time you've heard that. They're the first time I've talked about it. But today we want to talk about how you can expedite that process by using recommendations, endorsements, testimonials to really speak for your business in a very powerful way. And they also can give you amazing confidence and conviction in terms of the how you have truly helped your clients and the value that you provide. And especially as a new business owner, this can be so instrumental because we've all been there. I've been there today in terms of, am I doing the right thing? Can I really make this work? And it's so important to go back and to remember the things that you have done and the power that you have with what difference you can make in people's lives. So let's talk about getting consumers' feedback and what that can do for you. First and foremost, it's so critical to put ourselves out there and ask for feedback on what we've done well, what we could improve upon. People like being a part of your story and your journey and knowing that they're helping you to create something that's even better for them and for others in the future. So put yourself out there and don't be afraid to ask. Or if you are a little uncertain or not as comfortable or don't have the time to do it yourself, leverage someone like me. I love calling my clients, calling advisors and attorneys clients and getting their feedback on all the things that are working and what makes them different and how can we get even better. It's one of my absolute favorite things to do. It always makes me want to be a client of all of my clients. I wish I could, but unfortunately it doesn't work that way. But I have such a clear understanding about how they're each unique and different and who would be a great person to introduce them to as I talk to their clients and get the words directly from them, so that we don't use our expert language of, oh, here's what we think everybody needs, of rate of return or whatever, versus how are they really talking about it? What are they using? How are they describing it? And what are they looking for? And what's most important to them? So it allows us to bring it down into it. So let's talk about how you specifically can do it. And first off, make sure that you know you can do it. For advisors, unless you are a Series 65, 66 IAR advisor, you always want to double check with your compliance officer, but you should be able to use testimonials. So fantastic. There's usually just a process to make sure to go about and getting them approved. So there's a testimonial authorization form that a client would need to, or anyone who wants to give you a recommendation should fill out. What I find in terms of the best way to get that done with clients is usually what I do is I craft it for them. And I say, hey, most people are really busy professionals, like I'm sure you are, and they find what's most easy is if I take some of what you shared with me today as what was impactful to you from this process, and I create that as a testimonial, and then you can edit that or sign off on that before we use that. Would that be the easiest way for you? And most people are like, yes, absolutely. That would be so helpful because it's easier for most of us to edit things than it is to start from scratch or to know what you really exactly want us to say. So make it easy for the person to give you a testimonial and recommendation. Number two is to think about what you want to get from the testimonial authorization. Is there a particular challenge that you're having business? Maybe you're really young or you look really young. And it kind of comes up sometimes about credibility to be able to work with that retirement market or those empty nesters. So maybe you particularly would love somebody who talks about how experienced you were and how capable you were in that particular market. Maybe you're trying to get into a new market and you want somebody to talk about the value that you provide, particularly for that niche. Maybe it's female dental professionals, and you want to be able to talk specifically about how you work with people just like them. So think about some of the things that you might really want to pull out if you're doing a formal testimonial recommendations effort. Number three, make it part of your normal process. It shouldn't always be something that it's like something you do maybe every few years, but you want to continue to get recommendations and testimonials. Because think about it. If you are looking on Amazon and you're looking at reviews, if all the reviews are from like 5 years ago, do you feel as confident as the one that has all these reviews in the last 2 months? And they're all these really stellar reviews and they have a lot of them, right? So there's a combination of volume, quality for certain, and timeliness. So don't just wait and make it something that has to be so formal, which most of us do, but also take those opportunities when you're at the height of a relationship and when someone's feeling and expressing the value to ask for that during that moment. You don't have to wait for a formal review process to get the feedback or for somebody else necessarily to make the calls for you. If you're at the end of a discovery meeting or a fact finder and somebody's like, wow, this was so helpful. I never understood what this really meant before. This has really made it so helpful to me. Or at the close and they're like, oh my gosh, now our savings just happens for us. And I can see that we're going to be able to purchase that house that we've been saving for this last year. Take those moments to say, I'm so glad that we could add value for you. I appreciate those words. Besides when you might ask them for the introductions of who else could you help that might benefit from that as well. Another or additional thing that you could do is say, I would love to be able to use that as a testimonial for the work that we do with clients like yourselves. Could we use what you just shared as a testimonial? Most people are going to say yes. They're praising you. So to make sure you take that step just to ask, just like other things in our business, we have to ask, and it all starts there. So those are some ways to get it started and to make sure that you keep it going. Let me give you a couple examples too about some testimonials that I've recently heard from some clients and how this can come to light, and then how you can use those testimonials for your business. So here's a couple. I'll pick some short ones. This client made it easy for me to want to work with him because he's 100% committed to putting our relationship first. He said he is who he said. Having him as a navigator to map out our plan is a clear advantage, whatever you are considering. Here's another one for the same advisor. I don't know what else I would need or want an advisor, and I have more confidence that I can stop working when I want to and have less time and stress wondering if I'm doing the right thing. The world needs more advisors like so-and-so. So very powerful, I think, like I said, for him and for anybody reading that. Wouldn't you want to work with them? I mean, I do. I love working with him. And another advisor, here's a couple of hers. And some of these are really short and some are more rich and in depth. It's nice to have a combination of both. Here's one example. There were many options on how to finance opening my own office. And when she broke it down in a way that made me less stressed, I know I can go to her for any questions. And she's always super helpful. You can tell that she's excited about what she does. And as another professional mom, we connect not just professionally, but personally. Here's one more from this advisor. Let's see here. When she was brought in as an expert to speak to aspiring anesthesiologists like me, I knew that if she could handle their money and be respected by the faculty, she could also take my money. By providing a financial roadmap, she has helped me prepare for the future and the what ifs in life, like inflation. If you feel like you don't understand the financial world, she's a great person to go to. So another example, I could go on and on. So much fun developing those for my clients and learning about them in a new way and sharing that out in a powerful way. So how do we share that out once you actually get someone to sign off on a testimonial? Like I said, you'll want to make sure that you understand what your procedures are with your compliance. And in general, what you're going to need to do is you're going to have authorization from that client. Like we said, there's some kind of form. You have to have them sign off on it and approve it. Once they've signed that off, then you can typically use it on your website. So it has to get approved there, and then you can implement those testimonials on your website. There may be ways to use it on social media. Sometimes you have to work through some nuances there on what that looks like. And then, in one of the ways that you can, if you're in an advisor, use it on social media is within LinkedIn on the recommendations. So you can take what's already been approved, submit that on LinkedIn as a recommendation. And let me just show you what that looks like so that can be a little bit easier for you to walk through maybe yourself. So I'm going to open up my LinkedIn and let me just share my screen and show you exactly what you would need to do here. So share screen. Okay, so I'm in LinkedIn. I would go to my personal profile. So I'm going to go to, let's see here, we can go over here. And if you don't have a section yet for recommendations, you can click on your add profile section and you would see it in here to add it in here. I already have some added in here, so I can go down to my section. There's a couple different ways you can navigate this to you as well, but give you an idea here. So here's where I can see recommendations I've received, as well as ones I've given for others, so that I can show that I don't just ask for them, but I'm also giving back and giving testimonials for other people. But if I wanted to get a new one, or I already had somebody sign off on it as a new one, it was already approved, what I could do then is I could ask for a recommendation here, figure out who you want to ask it from. So I can select that person. It will give you information here about what's your relationship, how are we working together. And then in this personalized message, once again, what I recommend doing, since they've already provided you with a recommendation, is you just copy and paste what there already is approved in here. You say, hey, Coleman, once again, I so appreciate the recommendation that you gave me before so that I can use it on LinkedIn as well. I'm just copying it in here. If you would just accept it, that would be much appreciated. Thanks so much. So then it's exactly in here. All they have to do is you send it and then they'll get it. They could tweak it if they wanted to, but then you'd have to go back and maybe get that modified. But since it's already approved, they're probably just going to say, hey, submit this as a recommendation, and then you'll get it back on your end. Let me see if I have one that I can show you to. I guess. See if it'll let me do that or not. And then you can change if you want them on a displayed or not. I'm not sure now since I don't have any pending if I can show that. But like it's showing there, that's kind of the final step to make sure that you can get it on your LinkedIn profile besides what you have on your website, because you never know where people are going to go and experience you or first learn about you. Having things in multiple places really reinforces that credibility factor and that trust factor, and accelerates your relationship building with them. So there's a few ways that you can implement and use those testimonials. Certainly, if you're using a capability stack, firm profile, things along those lines, those might be some other places where you can also incorporate the testimonials. So when it gives them a clear idea of the type of people you help, the type of problems you solve, and like I said, increases that know, like, and trust factor, because people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So think about just like the next time you're on Amazon, today's Prime Day, you're on Amazon, you're checking out reviews and deciding, well, oh, do I want to buy this? Or maybe this has more reviews, or, oh, all the recent reviews are really positive around it. How does that apply to what you do as a business owner? What's your one step forward in terms of building that third-party credibility for your business? Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Drop it in the chat. Love to hear from you. Have a great day.